What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we've got some Destiny 2 Warmind stuff to talk about. So I want to talk about some new collectibles that will be coming in this DLC, and these aren't the same collectibles, the data fragments we've already spoken about. It looks like there will be even more stuff for us to chase and collect on Mars. We've got information about the second raid lair, exactly when that is going to launch, and a pretty teasy image which I'll talk about in a moment. Information about how exactly we will obtain weapons and armor from the Escalation Protocol, with information about the power level of different drops and weekly lockouts, how many times you can actually get stuff each week. We've got another look at exotic weapons and some more stuff that will be changing in the May update, potential new exotics, and a bunch of other stuff, so let's jump into it. So first up, yesterday Bungie posted a developer insights video. I did make an in-depth breakdown of what we saw in this, but as a very brief recap, they spoke about exotics and some of the Crucible stuff. We've got a sneak peek at a new Season 3 ornament for the Vigilance Wing, as well as some other exotics. But a couple of additional things to point out. It looks like there will be yet another collectible on Mars. So if we look at the Rook BNG emblem right there, we can see that it says 0 of 40. Obviously this is a new tracking emblem, and there's kind of a chest icon there as well. But if you look at the icon on the left of the Rook emblem, we can see that it's the same shape as those kind of Warmind artifacts, the same ones we saw in the Arecibo adventure on Io. But on top of this, of course, we did see one sneakily hidden underneath this bridge in some of the Mars gameplay that Bungie showed. So we can assume with 0 of 40 listed on this emblem that this will actually be another collectible on Mars. Who knows if it has more meaning, whether it will link to a quest of some sort or whether it's simply a collectible that you have and an emblem to track it. I imagine there would probably be a little bit more to it than that, but these are of course separate collectibles to the data fragments that we see listed on the Mars map, so there is going to be quite a lot of stuff to go after. Another quick thing to point out in this image is that we see some other tracking emblems with numbers and then a kind of sidearm icon, so perhaps we'll have the ability to set emblems up to track particular weapon kills, or these could be tied to specific weapons potentially. In this image though, we also see a new style of ship, which is kind of like a jet of some sort. Pretty cool looking ship, but I think it's really neat either way that we're going to have so many different collectibles on Mars. I'm also liking some of these emblems as well. I know we're not super hype about emblems, but these are slightly more old school. Moving on though, let's talk about the second raid lair. So Bungie have actually posted a new blog post page with information about this DLC, which they're going to be updating over the next few days. And something that we see here is information about the new raid lair. So it actually says, return to Leviathan with a fire team of 6 to conquer the Spire of Stars, launching on Friday, May 11th at 10 AM PT. So that will be 6 PM in the UK BST. So yet again, we're going to have a raid launch a couple of days after the DLC actually launches. Let me know what you guys think about that. I know some folks prefer to have a little bit longer to get ready. Other folks really like that kind of grind that you have over the first couple of days to get raid ready. But interestingly, if we look at the image, we do see the tower on the top of the Leviathan, and this is the tower with the two suns. This is pretty much where we speculated the raid would take place. But we also see these very big Cabal ships there. And so of course there are a few different possibilities. This could be Callus's troops with other ships around the Leviathan. There's an interesting possibility that perhaps this could be Red Legion or something actually trying to attack Callus. Either way, those are definitely Cabal ships. It looks like this could be a Cabal raid. This could kind of be the finale, I suppose, of Leviathan in terms of, you know, the story of Callus and what's going on aboard the ship. We can only really speculate for now, but I do think that image is very interesting, and I'd be curious to hear what you guys think below. Main thing though, Friday, May 11th, that's when the raid launches, 10 AM PT, 6 PM BST. So if you wanted to jump in, you better be grinding. Up next though, we get some information about Escalation Protocol and exactly how the drops are going to work for that each week. So in terms of power level, Daniel from Bungie says, once you hit the soft cap, the hope is that you spend time doing the things that you can do to gain power progression for the week, and if you've done those, chase some of the more horizontal pursuits like the rare drop weapons from Escalation Protocol or the exotic masterworks. But it goes on to say Escalation Protocol armor is a powerful reward level drop and limited to once a week per character, but the weapons which aren't a higher power level drop but are in general just really good weapons have a low drop chance, and you can grind the bosses each week until you get them if you want. And so someone says, does that mean we can only get one piece of protocol armor per week? Daniel says yes, once per week per character. And they also asked, will it be smart loot so I can complete the armor set after 5 weeks without duplicates? And Daniel said yes, they will drop in a specific order. So of course there will be different bosses each week. In terms of the weapons though, he says that you can get multiple copies of the weapon on the same character if you want. They aren't powerful rewards, so they won't be a power upgrade past 340, so I don't know why you'd want to, but you can. 3 of the 5 bosses have a specific weapon tied to them and will only drop that weapon, and the other 2 can drop any of the 3 weapons. So basically the weapons you can grind for over and over again, but armor pieces will drop once per week per character upon completion, and he also confirmed you've got to clear the whole thing to get your armor piece. So that's definitely good clarification if you're wondering how the loot system will work. Some of it will be locked out, some of it will be random and can drop over and over again. Let me know what you guys think about that. Of course, they're essentially time gating the collection of a full armor set from this. There was an additional thing to throw in there. Somebody asked, would you guys consider allowing infusion across classes like in D1, where of course you could take a Titan helmet and bring it over to your Warlock and infuse it into your Warlock helmet? Daniel said, I wouldn't say it's totally off the table, but I think run one character to max out all 3 classes isn't a super compelling experience, which is the reason that this change happened in the first place. The goal was to make it feel like more of an accomplishment to hit max level on all 3 than it was in Destiny 1. I'm curious if players that play on multiple characters feel like they have more to do, and if it feels like more of an accomplishment to max out all 3, especially after the progression changes in Warmind. Because of course things are going to slow down quite a bit in Warmind. It's going to take generally longer to level up and acquire new gear. So just an interesting insight for anyone who's interested in that. The news for this week though, it hasn't ended yet. We are going to be getting more stuff of course in This Week at Bungie. Bungie have also said they will be posting other developer videos, including one about Warmind and Escalation Protocol in general. And this will be kind of similar to the one we had from Josh Hamrick and Kevin Yanis. But DMG did confirm that this week in the TWAB they will give us information about the new heroic strike modifiers, so we'll finally get some details about that, which is certainly positive. Next though, I wanted to talk about a couple of exotic buffs. First up, we have the Sweet Business. Bungie actually give us a new clip of this thing in action, so let's check it out. Now, the main things to note about this clip is that the base magazine size has actually been increased quite substantially. On top of this though, the reserve ammo has also been increased very substantially. And we can see at one point there is over 900 rounds actually in reserve. So you're going to be able to put out a lot more rounds in the weapon. In this particular clip, they are actually using a Lunafaction Boots rift. So every time they step back into the rift, that's why the magazine is automatically reloading. Of course, we don't know what the possible masterwork buff will be or any other additional details about the exotic buff in general, but either way you'll be able to pump out a ton of ammo from Sweet Business. This thing's going to be pretty interesting. On top of this though, we did see a new clip of the Risk Runner in action, but the main thing right here would be the increased arc damage resistance. I was going to say the range on this thing looks pretty solid, but I'm assuming this isn't the masterwork version because it isn't generating orbs. But you can see on those last couple of kills, especially when Arc Conductor is active, the character using the Risk Runner is at very, very low health. And because of that arc damage incoming from the final player, it actually allows the user of the Risk Runner to stay alive and take very little damage in that last little stretch of health that they have, which is pretty interesting. But Bungie will give us deeper insights into exactly how this will work, presumably later this week. One last thing I wanted to mention. Yesterday, I did point out that we saw the Anna Bray weapon being held by the Warlock in this Crucible gameplay. And this confirmed that this weapon is indeed an auto rifle. You can tell by the way the weapon sounds when it actually fires. On the subject of whether it could be exotic or legendary, it's not entirely easy to say. I mean, I would think it would be an exotic weapon, especially since it's probably going to come from one of these bigger quests on Mars. Something to point out, every time that we've actually seen the weapon, especially when it's firing, it is producing solar damage. And of course, because legendary weapons can change that element, it might be random in different gameplay. The fact that we see it produce solar damage in so many different places might actually confirm that it is indeed an exotic where you can't change that element. So I just thought that was worth pointing out. out. Also, what on earth is this weapon on the hunter's back? I've zoomed in on this image a ton. This is one of the 4K screenshots, and the hunter has something really bizarre on their back. I think I might have seen this in a different screenshot and it looks kind of like a sword, but looking at it here, it has a very, very unique model. It's actually really difficult to tell exactly what this thing is, but it's not an ordinary looking weapon by any means. I do have another image right here where you can see the weapon as well. This one's very dark. Again, the quality isn't fantastic because I'm zooming in on very big images, but you can kind of make out that outline again. It's such a bizarre design. My best guess is that this is some kind of sword, possibly an exotic because of how unique it is, but that is pure speculation. It could be a completely different type of weapon. It could be a strike exclusive weapon. It certainly looks like it's possibly going to be themed around a particular type of enemy. So anyway, let me know what you guys think down below. Before I finish the video, I just wanted to mention that Bungie are releasing the first Warmind webcomic today. You can see the artwork for it on screen. I will link down below where you'll be able to find this comic. It's going to be very interesting to see what kind of lore hints they give us. Of course, Bungie have also been posting a bunch of lore about this expansion. So if you want a preview of some of the stuff we can expect to see in the DLC story-wise, then you can get some pretty interesting teases from both what they've been posting on Bungie.net and of course inside of the new webcomic. So those links will be below if you want to check it out. But guys, that is going to summarize the video. Lots of stuff to talk about. Let me know your thoughts on any of the stuff down in the comment section. If you have enjoyed the video, a like is very much appreciated. One quick shout, I am doing a giveaway with my friend Hollowtide for the Confluence of Light emblem for Destiny 2. So if you want a chance to win that, I will link the giveaway down below. You can also check out Hollowtide's channel, which I'll link below as well. For now though, guys, like I said, let me know your thoughts below. If you're new to this channel, be sure to hit subscribe if you want to see more D2 content, but I appreciate you watching and I will catch you very soon.